Energy. Well, what is energy? When you're out with your friends chilling on the streets and now you want to take a piss really bad, you would find a toilet as fast as you can and you would piss. But if you're in your bed, comfortably tucked in your blankets and now you have to pee, even if your washroom is right beside you, you would actually reconsider the option of getting up and taking a piss. Why? Because you have less energy this time rather than when you're out? Well, no. As the law of thermodynamics states, energy can't be conserved nor created, which means all the energy there is in this universe is constant. If something is giving out energy, at the same time something is taking that energy. So no matter what you do, no matter how energetic you aren't adding anything to the universe really, so why bother? Oreki Houtarou's whole concept of energy conservation may seem a little dumb. It may seem like a cocky teenager's excuse to not do shit and be lazy. It's not something a smart person would say again and again. We all know that Oreki is too smart to be using such cringy terms. The reason he does this is because it's a facade he puts up, a lie which he has told himself over and over again so he doesn't have to face the reality and meet people's expectations. He has convinced himself so many times that he believes it now. Just taking one look at Oreki and you can see that his hair is almost always messed up, his eyes look bored as in dead. Not as dead as Hachiman Hikigayas, but it's obvious that he doesn't give a shit about how he looks. In the start of the anime itself, we see that he almost exclusively likes to stay home and not go out. Where does all this stem from? Normally you would say that, well, yeah, because he's an introvert, right? And he's socially awkward, that's why he doesn't want to go out. But actually that's not the case for Houtarou. Oreki can hold a perfect conversation in almost all scenarios, but it seems like he is not interested in anything at all. He has developed this mindset because he doesn't think anything of himself. Think about it. We all are protagonists in our own story. We all are sure that we'll achieve something in life, but not Oreki. According to him, his life is plain and boring. There is nothing good about it, but also nothing bad. He doesn't think he is good, but also he doesn't think he is bad. He is just neutral. Neutral as in there is no contrast in his life whatsoever. Nor white nor black, just grey. Grey is the term he uses to describe his school life. He thinks that everyone apart from him in his school have something in their life, something which adds color and makes it pink. He's kind of frustrated about this, but due to his lack of emotions, he can't really express rightly that he wants to have a pink life like everyone else. In his mind, he is confused. He wants to get it, but he doesn't want to work towards it. Unsure whether he would be able to have a pink life ever. He doesn't want to leave the comfort zone, wanting to climb higher but too afraid to leave the cushion beneath him he could fall back on. This uncertainty comes from his self-depreciating behavior. Now, it's not news that Oreki is super smart and talented, but he holds himself very low on his own standard scale. In Hyouka, Oreki comes across many mysteries and puzzles and he solves them pretty easily thanks to his superior deduction abilities, but he thinks that this isn't anything hard. He says if given enough time, anyone can do it and I'm not anything special. Even when considering the mysteries he solved which were really hard and no one else could really do it, his mind thinks that he just got lucky or it was a coincidence. Constantly doubting himself over and over again has led him to a state of mind that he can't imagine himself excel at anything substantial. His view of himself and thinking that he is just mediocre and nothing special is the biggest problem he faces as portrayed in the anime. Well, it's hard to point and lay a finger on exactly why he is like this because the anime doesn't show anything about his past or any incident which occurred with him that made him like this. Little by little, with small incidences throughout the series, we get to know more about what kind of person he is. As I mentioned earlier, he definitely is talented, but when anyone tells him that he is, he just straight up disagrees. He refuses to believe that he has anything special about him, and if you see in reality, it's quite common in super talented people. Let's say if you go and ask an amazing artist that, wow, you draw pretty good, you must be super talented, right? The person will most likely reply, well, not as much, I'm decent and there are way more artists better than me who can draw 1,000 times better than me. This phenomena is what Oreki is a victim of. To understand this, we have to understand more about how he has grown. He was born smarter than average. In fact, he himself realized this very early. And with this, he also realized that to be good at anything, he wouldn't have to struggle as much as others. Being good at academics is all everybody cared about and Houtarou did that. Soon he noticed that he can do the same thing with minimal effort. This snowballed into him giving less effort each time as he progressed. This also gave him a sense of pride, a sense of ego if you wanna say it like that. But as soon as he entered high school, things weren't the same. People around him started to value social connections more than academics. People started to meet and hang out with each other, participating in festivals, and all this was quite new for Houtarou. It's not like he didn't try doing that either. Everyone who enters high school for the first time is a little overwhelmed, but it was more like he couldn't. Every time an incident happened, it gave him a reality check on how grey his life was, and his inner pride couldn't take that. And soon after, he just gave up, deceiving himself that he wasn't anything special. Everything he had to offer to the society wasn't of any value. This was the ultimate cause of him to self-depreciate himself, but in came a girl named Houtarou. A girl who oozed emotions, a girl who was so expressive in everything she did that she was the complete opposite of how Oreki was used to living. But what this girl did was she added such dynamics to Oreki's already existing group, which in the end started changing Oreki slowly. Very slow, but at least it had started. Oreki always has his guard up in front of almost everyone because that was his protective mechanism. Even in the start he was quite distant with Chitanda, but after a couple of events with his group and Oreki has started to be more open towards them. His best friend Fukube, who has known him for the longest time, was so surprised when Oreki offered to help by his own free will that he went crazy. Oreki's mind felt wanted again. His capabilities were not waste anymore, they were appreciated. The same Oreki who said that if it's not important, he won't do it. If it's important, then make it quick.
やらなくてもいいことならやらない。
やらなければいけないことなら手短に
Was now ready to do things with his group, well, quite reluctantly, but at least he did, because subconsciously he felt more and more involved and needed. One amazing thing Chitanda did was to make him discover his love for deduction and mystery solving, the thing he was ridiculously good at but had buried away because he deemed it useless. Soon we start seeing Oreki and his group solving more and more mysteries throughout the anime. This all makes Oreki feel more comfortable with his friends. He realizes that he's not the only one having flaws. All his friends and even Chitanda has their fair share of flaws. This makes him feel more comfortable in his own skin. During the cultural festival arc, he actively tries to sell the anthology Hyouka. He goes out of his way to help during the cooking contest. These are small changes, but they start adding up. Even after the Jumoji arc, this is the time he starts accepting his feelings towards Chitanda. Chitanda had been dragging him in all these events. Despite his will, Oreki tagged along in all of them. First, he blamed her for disrupting his low energy lifestyle.
ほとんど自己承諾だったけどな
He convinces himself that if it wasn't for her dumbness, he wouldn't have cared about all those puzzles. But Chitanda had done what she had to do. She sparked the interest in Oreki and we start seeing him seeking out problems to solve by himself. And this is when the acceptance came. After episode 19, we see a romantic development between him and Chitanda. It almost seems like Oreki had changed, but not quite. In the final episode, all these fruits of labor start coming to life. Chitanda likes him and it was as clear as a day. It was like she already had said she loves him. All Oreki had to do is confess to her. The atmosphere was perfect, everything was rose colored. It was as if they were meant to be with each other. But as I said, he isn't quite there yet. He still had some of his walls up and we didn't get the happy ending we all wanted.